Hey, welcome to The Snap. I'm your host, Mack, as always joined by my host, Lando. And today we're talking about Kyle Pitts, who is one of the most intriguing and interesting prospects in this year's 2021 rookie class. I'm fired up for some Kyle Pitts, man. We haven't talked any tight ends so far, and he might be a top 5 pick, not to spoil this video for you. But Lando, are you excited about Kyle Pitts?
Kyle Pitts might be the positional advantage that we are looking for in Dynasty football, where Travis Kelce and Darren Waller were that this year. He could be the next positional advantage to really let you win championships for years to come in Dynasty.
So the structure of this video, if you're new to the channel, we're going to go through his college production, some advanced analytics, the film room, things that we think he's great at, some things we think he needs to work on, a player comp, as well as a ranking. Where do we have Kyle Pitts in our tight end class, as well as overall rankings? Because I think that's going to be the piece that everybody wants to know. If you're new to the channel, please consider liking and subscribing. Really, really helps us out. So what do you need to know about a 6'6", 246-pound prospect that moves like a wide receiver? What else do you need to know, Landon?
Well, he was the 2020 Mackey Award winner. He was a 2020 Biletnikoff Award finalist, which is traditionally just meant for wide receivers. But it's a pass-catching award, and this guy was good enough to be a finalist there. First-team All-American and top 10 in Heisman votes, which seems also odd. Mac, why is this an interesting little stat nugget?
Believe it or not, we haven't seen a tight end top 10 in Heisman votes in the last 45 years. The last person to do it was Ken McAfee in 1977. So a historical year for Kyle Pitts. And when we jump to his college stats, you're not going to see anything that blows you away. But this is sort of the nature of the tight end position in college football. Kyle Pitts at his peak saw about a 17% target share. And in his freshman season, didn't really get any opportunity at all, but his sophomore season, 79 targets, 54 receptions, 649 yards, and 5 receiving touchdowns. In 2020, only played 8 games, missed some time due to a very vicious hit. He missed 3 games for that. But this guy in SEC football, 67 targets, 43 receptions, 12 touchdowns, and 770 yards on a 14.2% target share. In only 8 games was the tight end 1 for receiving touchdowns, receiving yards, and yards per game at 96.2 receiving yards per game. Point of the matter is, don't let the tight end designation for Kyle Pitts fool you. He is every good as any wide receiver in this class and is a difference maker at that tight end position. So we're going to talk about comps later on, but I think there's a way that you can think about Kyle Pitts that really reveals his true value in fantasy football.
He's checking off boxes at every turn. Breakout age of 18.9, college dominator of 32.3%, college yards per reception at 17.9. This is 95th, 91st, 96th percentile, and he's only 20 years old. So this is Dynasty gold. We've found the treasure we've been waiting for. He is number 1 in the country in deep pass targets of over 20 yards downfield. He is number 1 in receptions downfield and number 1 in downfield yards, obviously. He is the only tight end with 30-plus targets that averaged 3 yards per route run. So when he's running routes, he is targeted. That's what we want in fantasy football. That's what we want in dynasty football. That's what we want in what was I going to say? In fantasy. And he had 0 drops. His hands are phenomenal. He's always running downfield. We don't want a dink and dunk tight end. He is a weapon at every level.
And shout out to our guy Ray GQ running Destination Debbie. We found this nugget in one of his podcasts. He was 65th in the country, only running 63 snaps out of the slot position. However, when he was in the slot, on 22 targets, that puts him 8th in the country. So to break that down, when Kyle Pitts is lined up in the slot, he's going to be targeted. He's used as an offensive weapon. He's not a decoy. He's not a pass blocker or a run blocker. Kyle Pitts is used as a receiving threat. And if you had given him more opportunity, who knows how much he could have produced. But again, that's just the nature of the tight end position at the college level, at the NFL level. You see guys like Travis Kelce, who's going on 6 seasons now of 100 more or more targets. In the last 3 or 4 years, it's been over 130. So the opportunity for Kyle Pitts at the next level is certainly there. Now, when we jump into the film room, this guy is a highlight reel. He's unbelievable. There's so many pros here and very few cons, but we're going to talk to you what we like about Kyle Pitts. Now, his blend of athleticism and size is wild. Like at 6'6", 246, he should not be able to move the way that he does at the speed that he does. And we're probably projecting Kyle Pitts to run, it's been reported, around a 4.45 to 4.5 flat. That puts him in the range of Noah Fant from a couple years ago, who tested really, really well at the combine. There's not going to be a combine. He'll have a pro day. If he can run in that range, I think that's really going to take him over the top. TJ Hawkinson, who was, this athletic marvel at the tight end position, who was a top 10 pick, ran a 4.7. So Kyle Pitts has the ability to test off the charts. And that's probably his athleticism is crazy.
I cannot be more excited for this guy. I don't think he is, watching film. He looks like that big bodied wide receiver, and he can catch everything. His contested catch rate is phenomenal, but he's also several inches taller than every defender, and he's going to be a matchup nightmare in the NFL as well. Linebackers can't keep up with him, and cornerbacks are not going to be as tall as him. He's going to have 6 inches on pretty much every player. So he's going to be a matchup nightmare wherever he gets drafted. And like Max said, he's going to go in the top 10, at worst top 12 in the NFL draft. Ability to have yards after catch is something I love. He had
about any player really.
He had over 300 yards after catch, and that's what we like to see. His body control, his hands are phenomenal. Like I said, he had 0 drops. And what did you see, Mac, when you watched the film? Because I was blown away.
Yeah, very sure-handed, a guy that can, he's long, right? There's a couple times where Kyle Trask gets the ball out behind. He's kind of running away from the football. He's able to extend his arms back, make the catch, and where you'd typically see a wide receiver stall out, he's able to throw a stiff arm in, pick up 5 to 10 yards. This guy is very, very special. And the contested catch rate I want to bring up because, like you said, linebackers are too slow, cornerbacks and safeties are too small. Kyle Pitts, since 2014, leads the NCAA in contested catches with 25. This dude he's going to be a red zone, huge threat, a matchup nightmare. You can line him up anywhere on the field. He can run the route. He can create separation. He can win a 50-50 ball for you. And he's so versatile. That's why he's so dangerous. But aside from everything that Kyle Pitts does well, what does he not do well? And at the next level, he might be asked to run block. He might be asked to pass block. And that's not a strength of him. It's coming along. He's trying to develop it. He's not Pat Freiermuth. He's not the do-it-all tight end. That is your gadget player in this tight end class. But fantasy football, we don't get points for blocking. So I could really care less if Kyle Pitts is a good blocker or not. From a football standpoint, that will get him on the field more. But you can't deny what he gives you as a receiving threat. And that's why we love what Kyle Pitts is. He's a star in the making, believe it or not.
Yeah, as soon as he gets drafted, Mac, he is a top 3 or 4 tight end in Dynasty right away. That's where you want him. That's where you want him on your team right away. For an NFL comparison, I'm thinking he is kind of a mix between Darren Waller and Jimmy Graham, which is very high praise for a guy like that. But Darren Waller didn't break out until he was 26. I'm expecting Kyle Pitts to break out in the first year or two of being into the NFL. He will be a difference maker as soon as he gets on the field because he's going to be that top 12 NFL pick. Now, and for the red zone prowess, that's why Jimmy Graham is a great comparison, because they're right around the same size. And Jimmy Graham excelled when he got into the NFL in the red zone with Drew Brees in the Saints. And wherever Kyle Pitts lands, he is going to be used as that red zone target because he's a mismatch at every single spot on the field.
And I'm going away from the tight end position. I think Darren Waller or Jimmy Graham is a good comp historically for the tight end position. I'm going to go on the receiving end because to me, he plays a lot like a wide receiver. And Darren Waller was a wide receiver converted tight end. That makes complete sense. I'm going more with a Mike Evans, a guy with a massive catch radius, with a really good jump ball presence. But Kyle Pitts gives you Mike Evans plus. He's able to create for himself. He's not just a peripheral receiving option. He can run slot routes. He can create after the catch. Like, he is just a better version of what Mike Evans is. And if I'm thinking, where would I rank Mike Evans in Dynasty or in fantasy football if I could put him in my tight end slot? That's how I'm thinking about Kyle Pitts. Is
phenomenal.
He's what Mike Evans is plus as a tight end. And positional advantage, it is a huge, huge upgrade to your fantasy team. And that's why we both have him so high. So what it comes down to, where do you have Kyle Pitts in your tight end rankings? I'll speak for both of us. He's number one. He's in a tier above Brevin Jordan and Pat Freiermuth, who project to be pretty solid tight end prospects. They should be, top 15 to 20 picks in your rookie drafts. But where do you put Kyle Pitts in this entire class as an offensive threat? That's the question at hand here.
He could be a top 3 pick. He could be a top 3 pick in a one quarterback, non-tight end premium league. And because you have that positional advantage, you draft the premium players, and Kyle Pitts is not going to lose value in Dynasty. He's just going to keep on gaining value. His accolades, his name recognition, everything, where he's going to go in the draft, he's going to keep getting value. So if you take him in the top 3-4 picks, I would not blame you. You might take Harris, you might take Jamar Chase ahead, maybe. But if you could go with Kyle Pitts right after, he's without a doubt for me a top 5 pick.
I'm going to find it hard to get him to 3 because I think Harris, Chase, ETN are potentially difference makers at their positions and solid talents. And Trevor Lawrence, if you need a quarterback, he could be the next coming of Pat Mahomes. He's got that upside. Really, like, the top 5 is almost a lock for Kyle Pitts. Like, you're kind of in the range of, do I go Devontae Smith? Do I go Jalen Waddle? Do I go Javonte Williams? I really, like, Kyle Pitts is probably a better fantasy option in year one than any of those guys. I'd be surprised if he wasn't. And I think, a much better receiving prospect than Devontae Smith. He's got the size, he's got the skill set, and he's going to be a guy you just can't defend, where I do think Devontae Smith will be defended at the next level. So he's a top 5 pick for me in a single QB non tight end premium league.
Drop it in the comments below where you have Kyle Pitts ranked in your dynasty leagues. How early are you willing to take him? How late? If you think we are crazy and we are way too high on Kyle Pitts, drop it in the comments below. Make sure to stay tuned to the Snap. We've got rookie profiles all season long. And who do you want to see next? If you want to see another tight end, or you're ready for another five-star prospect in Trevor Lawrence, drop it in the comments and make sure to stay tuned to the Snap all off season long.